How much does our environment affect us? How much does the outer affect the inner? I'm going to tell you a little story that you may or may not believe. In fact, if I told it, I wouldn't believe it. So the only reason I believe it is because I lived it. Are you ready? And I'd like you to think along the way of a story that you have that's similar. And I'd love to hear your comments in this YouTube video. Ready? Here we go. So I was, 20, and I got this job, not a job, a practicum, they call it. What do you call that in English? An internship in Germany. So it was in a town called Duisburg. If you're from Duisburg, I apologize for what I'm about to say, but it is not the most gorgeous of German cities. In fact, it's known as the Ruhrgebiet, which is the industrial area. So I went to this town. I had no idea what it was like. And I worked for a company. I'm not going to mention the company's name, but nothing wrong with the company. They were great to me. But it's just, if you know me now and think of, wow, Bradley, really? You worked there? You did that? Yes, I did. I worked for this company, and they made sort of like earth movers, like these gigantic trucks, with like the wheels that are bigger than a house, right? These huge monstrous things. I had no idea what they really did. I was just an intern. And I'm pretty sure my job was at the copy machine. I was a master at the copy machine. So it doesn't sound great, right? Let's just add a few of the environmental factors here. I lived next to a cemetery, and I lived in the tiniest of tiny apartments. It wasn't even an apartment, it was a room with this sort of, I wouldn't call her evil, but let's just say not exactly warm and cuddly. This woman, this older German woman who, we only spoke German, right? And so, by the way, this is how I learned German. I lived there, I didn't speak a lick of English, and this is how I learned German. So I was living in this tiny little apartment. I'll never forget, I would come home, my job was like 7 to 3. I'd get home at 3:30, and sometimes I was so tired from speaking German, your brain is just going crazy all day, that I would go to bed sometimes at, I can't even believe I'm saying this, like 5 or 6 p.m., right? So if you think, I didn't know anybody, I barely spoke the language, I had this little job where I was at the copy machine. So you ready for the kicker? You ready for like the surprise? If you ask me, how's life? I'm like, I am the happiest person in the world. I absolutely am living my life's dream, and I'm loving every single minute of it. The cemetery, the old woman, the late nights, the early nights, it was all fantastic. There you go.